to the Center for Spiritual Living Bellingham. I'm Andrea Asebedo, and we are here on a lovely November morning just before Thanksgiving. My gratitude today has to do with the wonderment of the changing of the seasons. For many years I lived in a place that really didn't have the 4 seasons. It had more like 2.5. And so the first few years I was here, it was challenging. I didn't have the right clothes. But now that I am appropriately garbed, every season has this amazing beauty to it. And so wherever you are, I hope you are looking out the window right now and seeing the beauty. And we'll look out at our beautiful upper meadow with the sun shining on the frost as we take it to our lovely band this morning. Welcome, Kathy. Glad you're back with us today. Welcome, everybody. Let's go. Please stand.
We got a new one for you this morning.
Reach out and touch the hand of your neighbor. Reach out and smile, you may need a new friend. Reach out and touch the hand of your neighbor. Reach out and smile, you may meet a new friend. Open your heart and feel love flowing. Open your heart and feel your love grow. Open your heart and feel love flowing. Open your heart and feel your love grow. Open your mind to a new day dawning. Open your mind, let this new day begin. Open your mind to a new day dawning. Open your mind, let this new day begin.
All right. Thanks, everybody. So instead of maybe reaching out and touching a hand, perhaps you could reach out and bump an elbow with someone new that you don't know before we go into our next song. And welcome everybody in our online audience. Go ahead and type a hello in the chat.
Yeah. More time? I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul soul is welcome here.
Last time.
My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome
Good morning. I'm Deb Dole, practitioner here at CSL, and now is your opportunity to turn off your phone or turn it down. Please join with me. Why don't we take a deep breath in, hold it for a second or two, and then breathe it out. And drop your shoulders. And drop into that deep heart space inside of you where you can feel your heartbeat. Maybe you can even feel the pulse of the blood going around your body. We are deeply in the presence of the divine, of the one intelligence. We can get there any moment, any time that we want. There are so many ways to get there. And what I know beyond anything is that Spirit is and always will be. I am a face of Spirit. You are a face of Spirit. We are all Spirit. I love knowing this. And I love being able to take the moment to stand or to sit or just to be with that knowledge. Welcome to us. We all came today to connect with each other, to connect deeper with the divine. And I know for me, as I know for you, that we came whole, precious, loving, loved. And I'm so grateful to be in this sacred place with you all. And I lean into the learning, the deep learning that will speak just to me and just to you guys today in the service. So, welcome to all of us. As I speak these words, I know that they are so. I know that I only have to say yes. I know that you only have to say yes. So let's say yes. And so it is.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Please join. Surely the presence of love is in each place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. wish for you love, I wish you success, and knowing you are worthy of having it all. You've answered the call to serve your highest good. You have a power within, and now you'll begin to share your heart's desire. I wish for you joy, I wish for you peace, but most of all, I wish you love.
I wish you love. I wish you love.
I wish you love.
I wish you love. I wish you love.
You have all that you need, all the support to reach the highest mountain. But if you're afraid or feel insecure, your angels are watching over you. Open your heart, trust in your path. Faith will always guide you. I wish for you joy, I wish for you peace, but most of all, I wish you love.
I wish you love. I wish you love.
I wish you love.
I wish you love. I wish you love.
You've got everything inside of you. Nothing's gonna stop you now. There's nothing you can do. So just state your intentions with the laser beam of light and go out and shine. You shine. You shine. I wish for you love. I wish you success. Knowing you are worthy of having it all. You've answered the call to serve your highest good. Open your heart, trust in your path. Faith will always guide you. I wish for you joy, I wish for you peace, but most of all, I wish you love.
I wish you love. I wish you love.
I wish you love.
I wish you love. I wish you love.
I wish you love.
Thank you all. Thank you, Kathy. So great to have you back. So welcome again. Glad you're here, both here and in our virtual audience. We're in the flow of a month called Reaching Out, and it has to do with kind of the culminating parts of our year that started with the yearly theme of On the Brink of Everything. And as we move through the year, which was certainly an interesting year, as we come to this point, this is the point where I'm encouraging people to really tune into the gifts that they have and the call that they have, and then to bring it forward, to bring it out. And what I'm aware of is that it's often not easy to do that. There's lots of things that stand in the way. So the first Sunday, I talked a lot about love, like Kathy was singing about, but the power of love, the force of love, the inner strength of love that holds us and also is seeking always to move us out into the world with the gifts that we've come to give. And in that same talk, the need for balance. That it's really easy as we begin to give our gifts to sometimes get overwhelmed, to become burned out, and then stop. And so the need for all of us is to kind of lean into the divine, that is love in action, and then balance that with time where love is self-nurture, taking time away, taking time apart to really reside in love without action. So both. The second week I talked a lot about the need for failure and how part of what will happen when we begin to offer whatever gift we have is that we will fail. It's just part of the learning process, is we don't have it like down the first time we do something usually. It was always a fantasy of mine when I was a little kid that I was raised Episcopal, so Jesus was a friend of mine. I came to understand that the Jesus that I was thinking we were talking about wasn't what they were talking about, but that's a whole nother topic. So I always thought, I bet if Jesus was here, he could sit down at the piano, which I was forced to practice, and just play with no practice at all. And my mom would say, no, that's not the way that works, and it's certainly not the way it works for you. So failure, and today I want to speak a little bit about obstacles in ourselves and how we work with those. So I found myself talking to someone this week and just spontaneously sharing one of these stories that for me has been one of the most important stories in the last couple decades for me. And it's a story from Tibetan Buddhism. And there's a character in Tibetan Buddhism whose name is Milarepa, and maybe you've heard this story, but Milarepa, before he became enlightened, was a murderer and a thief and basically a bad guy. And he was doing his bad guy stuff when the Buddha wandered by, and something inside of Milarepa recognized that this was an extraordinary opportunity. And without thought, he just laid himself down in front of the Buddha, and the Buddha looked down at him, and that was that for Milarepa. So he changed his entire way of living, and he became a saint eventually. Probably more years than they talk about when they're telling stories about this guy. So Milarepa at one point, as is so often the case in Tibetan Buddhist stories, was living in a cave. And in Tibet, you may know that, hope you can still hear us, virtual audience. You can hear me, right? Yeah. So he's living in this cave, and he has to go out pretty far to gather firewood for warmth. And so he's gone most of the day collecting firewood and dung and everything he needs to keep his cave warm during the long, cold night. And when he gets back to his cave, it's full of demons, chock-a-block full of demons. Short demons, tall demons, really scary demons, sort of cute demons, but demons of all sorts. And he pauses on the doorstep, and he looks at these demons, and he's thinking to himself, well, I know that if I just try to chase them out, that's not going to work. So he decides what he'll do is he'll start with a welcome. So he puts the firewood down, and he says, welcome, demons. I'm so happy you found my cave. And with those words of welcome, about half the demons disappear. So then he walks into the cave and he says, my cave is your cave. I was coming in to light a fire and do spiritual practice, so I'm going to sit after I build this fire up. Excuse me, demons. Builds the fire, and then he sits down and he says, I'm going to chant sacred verses, and you're welcome to join me if you'd like. And so he starts chanting sacred verses, and bam, another quarter of them disappears. So now he's only got a quarter. But what he's noticing about these demons is they're not moved by welcome and by sacred text. So he looks at them and he says, so demons, I can see that you're not here for me to teach you, so I assume that you're here to teach me. So here I am. And with that, all but one of the demons disappears. But the last demon is the scariest. He is the biggest. He's got this huge mouth with teeth, and he's slavering and spit's rolling down, and He's got big, huge red eyes, and he's really ferocious, and he's not going anywhere. And so Milarepa says, well, I guess it's just you and me. And the demon's just sort of standing by the fire, sort of salivating. And he thinks, okay. So he says, demon, I think I'll just surrender to you. And so he puts his head in the demon's mouth. And as soon as he fully surrenders, the demon goes. Now, isn't that an interesting story? For me, a lot of stories are very archetypal and have only a small amount to do with whatever tradition they're from and really speak to all of us sacred humans. So I take that to mean, and I have no idea if I'm right, but I take that story, and the reason it became important to me, to mean that we have within us lots of different negative energies and habit energies that are not the most positive. And they take over. They take over the cave of the heart. They take over the mind. They take over from time to time. And fighting them, I don't know if you've found this to be true, fighting them just seems to strengthen those habits and those ways. And the mind becomes resistant and the heart becomes resistant to the fight. In fact, there's a guy in Australia who's very famous for being an eclectic spiritual teacher. And he said, the reason you have such trouble when you meditate is you think you have to fight your thoughts, and the more you fight them, the more they're going to cling ferociously and not be banished. And it's the same thing. So for me, part of learning how to bring the gifts we have into the world and offer them in some very concrete form, whether you want to work with social justice issues or you want to work with issues of the heart in helping people. We had a lot of that here this week with the floods and people reaching out and bringing themselves to help. Whatever we have to offer in the outer world, the inner world is the place where it all starts. And so what we dwell upon inwardly tends to outpicture it in the outer world. So if we have a bunch of negative habit energies going on, our ability to reach through those, past those, is somewhat limited. So we have to work on those in order to be able to be who we are in the world more forcefully, more with more impact, I guess is what I mean. And that story to me really talks about, all right, what are the demons? What are the places of mind and heart? What are the places where spiritual understanding has not quite penetrated and they're not actually susceptible to spiritual practice sometimes? What can we do with those? And so the story, the teaching story as well, notice them, really notice them, welcome them as guides. Rumi talks a lot about this, and then work with them. And eventually surrender, not in the sense of letting them run you around, but rather surrender to the fact that as a sacred human, you're always going to have some of this stuff. And it doesn't inhibit your ability to be illumined. It simply is something to notice and work with continually on the path, which is great. Really has helped me. Sometimes that same awareness is evident when we begin to work in the outer world with what we're called to do. I was remembering that there was a time in my life where the Iraqi war had just started, and I was living in a very, very conservative area, and I was opposed to that war, but what I was more about was peace. So I take a stand almost always, in fact always, that it's better to be for something than against something. And so when bringing the gifts we have, it's better to find a way to utilize them for something rather than against anything. So since the war was troubling to me, I decided that since I was actually saying I'm for peace, I would become an activist in this conservative town I was in and stand for peace. And I started talking to other people about that. And there's an organization worldwide that's called Women in Black. And it started with the widows and the mothers who had lost their children in the wars in Russia and in Palestine, Israel, and the Palestinians, and in other war-torn areas in South America. And the women just were devastated by their losses, and the only thing they could do safely was stand together. And so they would dress in black, and they would stand together in village squares and in big cities and on the lines, the demarcation lines between two countries, and this is what they did. And they had an impact. And so I started Women in Black in this town that I was in, and we would go and we would stand in different places. The reason I'm telling you that story is because in standing for something, in a place that was not necessarily in agreement with what I was standing for, although how you can not be in agreement with peace, I never could figure out, but okay. I learned that if I had judgment about other people, demon, then that would immediately mirror back to me in some way. And that if I was clear that what I was doing was what I was called to do to try to help the world learn a different way to be, then that would be mirrored back. And I suspect it's the same for you, whatever you're called to do, whatever it is that your gifts are and how you're called to bring them into the world. I suspect the clearer we are with those little demons of ours, the clearer our gift will be. And so I was thinking about all this, and I was thinking about the quote that I had chosen for today, since the topic is reaching beyond comfort. Pema Chodron is an amazing American nun who teaches, and this is what she has to say. It's hard to know whether to laugh or to cry at the human predicament. Here we are with so much wisdom and tenderness, and without even knowing it, we cover it over to protect ourselves from insecurity. Although we have the potential to experience the freedom of a butterfly, we mysteriously prefer the small and fearful cocoon of ego. And to me, that quote kind of sums up the demon story, because demons always want us to go into fear. That's what they live on, that's what they work with, that's what they're trying to get us to do, so that we'll let go of moving forward and expanding. Almost all those demons don't want any kind of growth to happen, but instead they want contraction. And that's why it's so easy to go with them, is because for most sacred humans, we have learned on the playground, in the classroom, in relationships, that being vulnerable is frightening. It opens us up to potential wounding, potential difficulties. And so for many of us, the decision was made long, long ago and has now become sort of a habitual way with us, that we will protect our hearts, we will protect our minds, we will protect ourselves by stepping into the cocoon and not coming out. But you know what happens to butterflies when they do that, right? They die. And that's exactly what begins to happen for us if we're not willing to heed the call that the soul is calling us to do. So we have to step out. We have to reach out with who we are and what we are. And we have to do it in a way that steps us into being vulnerable, steps us out of comfort. And so for me, one of the things that I've learned on the spiritual path is there's nothing wrong with comfort. I'm a real comfort lover. I love all kinds of comfortable things. But what I've noticed is that if I allow that to be my primary objective, I begin to atrophy spiritually. And so we need to challenge that edge. be that place that's willing to step out of safety and comfort and into trying new things, trying to be authentically ourselves, trying to say what's true for us, trying to be that place that brings the gift that we've been called here to planet Earth to give. Ernest Holmes is so clear about this. He's like, the thing that keeps people stuck is this idea that somehow what they need to do is some task or some way of living. And he said, that's not it. Actually, the only thing that we're to do here is to live fully who we are and to bring that more and more into expression. That's all. That's what we're here to do. And so when I look out at your faces, and I'm imagining those of you in our virtual audience, I see that not a single one of us is necessarily called to the same thing. That some of us are called to a very intimate circle of gift. That what we are called to do is with our immediate friends and family. And that sometimes for people that are called in this way, they think that their gift is less, because there's all these people like, Jane Goodall and all these folks out there doing these big, bold things, and here we are gifting in the smaller circle. But the truth of the matter is, that's where you're called. You can trust that. The same is true with those of us who are stepping into a different arena and we're offering ourselves in some way. I see people here in our very audience who are working with people with special needs and challenges and opening doorways for them in education and information gathering so that they have opportunity. That's a call. I see some who their call is through music and the ability to gift that way and watch the people dance and sing and be lifted in a time when being lifted is really critical. There are those of you here who work with children and elders. There are those of you who work with people who have addictions. There are those of you in this audience that have worked diligently to build this community. I don't know what your gift is. I know it's here. I know it's calling. I know from the bottom of my own heart that we don't want to die in the cocoon of comfort. So can I ask you, and then we'll close, can I ask you, do you know what it is? Because sometimes that's the first step. Do you know what it is that you're offering? You're already offering. That I know. The gift that you came to do, you can't help but do. But the awareness of being able to do it is a whole different thing. So pay attention. Look up. Notice the demons running around that would tell you, no, 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 don't do that, don't do that. And then welcome them and allow them to find a different home so that you can get on with being your beautiful gift. I think that's all. I know for me in this time when there's so much difficulty in so many ways, that a prayer is often thought of as a weak tool. But in our tradition, it is the tool that can shift things. So I'm going to do one of those today. And as always, as Deb said earlier in her prayer, as always, when we do prayer, if you say yes to the prayer, it operates with you. So here we are. In the quiet of this moment, I return to the awareness that dwelling within all sacred humans, and indeed within all things, everywhere, known and unknown, there is a power and a presence that has no limit. It is unlimited, and it is always and ever offering its unlimited beingness to each of us. Whatever ideas or resources, whatever understanding, whatever circumstance or experience is needed in any of our lives, this unlimited, deep presence is always offering it. And so the key is not to somehow cajole that presence, but rather to open to the gift that's already being offered. And so I do. I offer myself to that beloved presence in open-hearted acceptance of the gifts that I am at this moment needing so that I can become a light and a vehicle for good in the world. Whatever I need is already gifted. It's already here. And so I accept it. I accept wisdom, insight, I accept resources, and I accept every other thing that would come my way to allow me to step more fully out of comfort and into action. As I do this, I am opened. I am able to be that which I have come to be here in this incarnation. And Spirit dwelling with me, as me, and offering itself wholeheartedly all the time, says yes by means of me. My entire life becomes a yes. And I am so grateful for my willingness to be that in this world. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. All right, well, we're going to invite the ushers to prepare for the offertory and invite you to do that as well. I know many of you offer your gifts through our website and also by sending in checks and things like that. So thank you to those of you who do that. Thank you for any gifts you offer the center today. And let's turn it over to our wonderful band.
I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself.
So I've invited a wonderful person named Marshall to come up here and share a little bit about why he gives to the center. And Marshall is someone that's very interesting to me because he has been involved in several centers. So come on up, Marshall, and I'm going to give you the mic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful opportunity to address the congregation. Haven't had many of those, but I guess what I really love most about coming here is being reminded that I'm a sacred human being. It's probably the only place I ever go where I feel enlifted, enlightened, and everything just by hearing a few words and sharing it with others. So let me tell you a little bit about our background and how we got here and what's going on. My wife, Pat, and I have been involved with CSL, or the Science of Mind philosophy, for about 25 years or so. That started back in California when we were living there. We had just recently met each other, actually, about 28 years ago. And we discovered there was a lot of attention drawn to each other, but we discovered we were really different at a kind of a background in religion. I'm a Jewish kid out of New York, and she's a California girl with Christian Science background. Now, what is common about that? Almost nothing, but as we searched it, what we found out, we were raised in a religious fervor that was rules and regulations on both our sides. The way religion to us in our youth judged us was you follow the rules, you do right or wrong, you're good or evil, or you're a sinner, or hopefully you're going to heaven if you do right things. And the strange part is, coming from the Jewish side, not only do we have the 10 Commandments, but we have 613 other religious rules we call mitzvot, the joy of following, so that you can be judged. And the trouble is, you never learn what they are. You just know there's lots of them. They show up every time you do something wrong. So it was very strange on that. So we searched together. We were in midlife, in our 40s or so, when we met. We had previous marriages, and we were divorced, and we were a little wiser. We wanted more out of life. We found this newly formed church in our hometown in California, and believe it or not, it was a CSL-type church. It believed in the philosophies that we learned, and we became pretty active, and we saw an opportunity to see life in a different perspective. It was, you know, it wasn't all these, we didn't come in and they say, you got to do this on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, you got to pray this way, you got to bow your head this way, you got to do this, you got to eat this way, you got to do. It was more of, how do you live in life? How do you become a sacred human being? And how do you fit in? Oh my, you mean you're asking my opinion? Oh, that's strange. I'm used to going, they keep telling me my opinion. So, so we went through some of the searches for a better understanding. We took courses, we did that, and we were very comfortable. As we matured, I got to the point where I retired, and we decided California's too crowded for us. We need to, even though we have lots of family there, we'll look around, and we actually looked around the country. We looked in South Carolina, we looked in Arizona, and we came up. I had a friend here invited us. We moved to look around Bellingham, and we had an RV at the time. We kept coming up during the summers, and the thing that kept attracting us is we'd show up on Sunday right here, and it was wonderful. The message was continuing, the love was being shared, and about 10 years ago we moved here permanently, and we still split some time going south because that's where our families are. But it's a tremendous warm feeling. It's very unjudgmental, the way we go. And I can show up, I hug a bunch of people I know, I meet them in stores. It's just a comfortable place to be and to feel when I show up, as I said, a sacred human. It means a lot. It's deep to me. So I've been asked to kind of figure out what is it about giving and intention. Well, my interpretation of everything I love simply in the philosophy is that it's love. You hear it a lot, but it's not love between a man and a woman or between partners. It's love of life. It's love of friendship. It's love of community. It's all the things that amount to be meaningful in your life. So when someone asks me, why do you give? I give with the intention of love. It's that simple, and it's that complex. And I make it easy on myself. I look at, on a yearly basis, what do I think our expenses will be, what, living a fixed income is retirement, what's my income, and I figure what a fair share is, and I make it easy. I go to my bank, I tell them to send a monthly check, it shows up on a regular basis.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I have to say thank you for allowing Pat and I to be part of this loving community and the chance to learn and expand and sharing with you. Thank you very much, and bless you.
So that really, Marshall, that was great. the reason that I'm inviting people up is you hear from me a lot. But in terms of our community, hearing from community members is so important during this period of time we call the Giving Intention Month. And so we're in the middle of it. And what the Giving Intention Month is a long time ago now, I just got tired of asking for money and doing all these tricky ways of doing it that they teach you in minister school. Just not like that, you may have noticed. And so I just wanted, my parents were accountants. I wanted people to just have the information and then do what I do, which is like, all right, just like Marshall said, look at what your expenses are, look at what you could give, and then tell us, and then do it. That's the trickiest part of this whole thing. So where we are as a community is we are in a wonderful position. During 2020, so many people were concerned that we would not be able to continue, that they gave extra, and a lot of people gave extra. So we went into this year with a wonderful amount of money in the bank. And I thought to myself, because, ministers talk, and so other ministers are saying, well, yeah, don't count on that for this year. And I'm like, okay, I won't count on it, but I'm very grateful. So this year has been a very beautiful year as well financially. And so we are doing fine. We're not doing like, I don't know, we're not Bill Gates. We're not Jeff Bezos, probably a good thing, because we're a nonprofit. But what we are is we're sitting in a place where we can meet our expenses without doing what we used to do long ago, which was hold our breath every time a bill would come and do a prayer to know that we would be able to pay it. That was in the early days of when I got here. We're not doing that anymore. We're able to not only pay our bills with a great sense of gratitude, but we're also offering scholarships to people who would like to take our classes and don't have the money. We're making women's retreats available to those who can't quite afford the $400 it takes to go to those things like that. So your gifts are very, very important and very appreciated. So what we do in this 4-week period, this is the second week, is we let you know that there's this form, and Tom in the back was holding them up. So there's some in the back if you would like. This form is also available on our website, so you don't have to do this, but it's just an opportunity to tell us for the year 2022 how much you would be willing to support us financially with. And most people do a monthly donation. So they figure out what they think they can do monthly, and then they tell us, and then they, as Marshall said, they authorize their bank to send us a check, or we have an automated way that you can sign up, and then the bank just takes the money out of your account. You can do whatever you'd like. We're so grateful for anything. So, whether it's $5 or $500 or more, every single dollar, you have my assurance and the board's assurance, is used wisely and well for the benefit of our community. And some of our goals this year have to do with technology. We are in a position, as you are too, of living in a very changed world, a world that has become increasingly hybrid. So we live part of our lives online, and we live part of our lives in person. While I still prefer the in-person part, I too live much of my life now virtually. And so we want to make sure that the center has the right equipment to be able to offer what we're doing well. And we're sort of there. But we have challenges bringing the music team fully into a virtual platform so that it comes through in the best way possible. And so a lot of our intention this year is to build things like that up. We also, once a year, put out a newsletter that tells you exactly how we spent the money this year that you so generously gave, and lets you know kind of what the goals are for the coming year. So this is also online. So feel free to go online and find that. So we would love it if you could fill out that form and have it into us by Monday, December 6th. What happens then is our budget team goes through our budget again, and depending on what people say they're going to give, We either, just like at your home budget, we either say, okay, not so much money over here, and we'll cut a little bit there, or we say, yay, we can do everything and more. So December 6th will be the day. Other things that are going on here, Kit Zinn, who's here today, is offering a class called 29 Gifts that starts this Monday. It is a Zoom class. It's a book study on the book called 29 Gifts, and it's a real opportunity to put into practice the art of gratitude and giving to self and others. So if you would like to take part in this class, it starts at 6:30 on Monday, goes till 8, and you need to email the center and we will send you the Zoom link. So that's happening this coming Monday. Also today, the Women's Circle is meeting in a hybrid format. So those of you who would like to be in person, we're going to be meeting at noon in our classroom. And if you would like to join us by Zoom, the link is on our website, and you can click on that link and join us at noon as well. And we'd love you to come. This month we're centering on reaching out, the theme for the month. And then tonight at 6 o'clock, I'm hosting an information session, a Q&A, on a trip that we're thinking of taking, a sacred trip to Portugal. And you're invited to come and just be part of that presentation, ask questions, find out more about that trip. We're looking at the end of September into early October for going to Portugal. We'll be doing spiritual practices every day during that trip and visiting some sacred sites, as well as some sites that are just wonderful things to visit while you're in Portugal. So that's tonight at 6 o'clock, and you need to email the center office to get the Zoom link for that. We also want you to know that the office will be closed Wednesday and Thursday of this week in celebration of American Thanksgiving. And we have a couple of events that last year we did virtually that we are bringing back as a hybrid model for the holiday season. And if you've never been with us for our winter solstice service, you're invited to come in person if you're local, but we'll also be live streaming that on December 21st at 7 p.m. We also will be doing a hybrid Christmas Eve candle lighting service. And so you're welcome to come in person, be part of that, bring your children, or join us online as well. That also is at 7. So mark your calendars. We want you to know that we are here to support you in every way. So right now, why don't we head on out of here and into the day. Thank you for coming today.
All right, thank you, Andrea. Everybody, please stand up. This will be one you'll be able to catch on to really fast. Light in this world.
I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light,
I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright, and I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. Have a great week, everybody. Go out and shine.
Ready? Key of C.